Yep, you'd subtract the 2. 3t is equal to 5. Divide by 3, and you get t is equal to 5/3. Today, our goal is to solve linear equations. Linear equations are when the variable is to the first power, so that's 3t to the first power. And solving equations is something that you remember well from Algebra 1 and Algebra 2. And we're going to take off with this and see what we can do. First example, we add 9 to both sides. So x is equal to 7. If you want to check the answer, you go ahead, plug it in, and you should get the same result. Letter B is more challenging because there's a fraction. How do I get rid of the fraction? Multiply by 2/3. Remember, right away, what people often say is they're like, well, divide the 3/2 off. Well, we don't divide by fractions. We multiply by the reciprocal. So you can see you're left with x. And then on this side, you can do 24 times 2 divided by 3, or you can do 24 divided by 3 times 2. You can do either order. So 24 divided by 3 is 8, times 2 is 16. It's okay if the x ends up on the right-hand side. We still just add 4 to both sides. 27 is equal to x. Sorry, negative 27. Subtract 18. X divided by 3 is equal to negative 5. Now what? How do I get rid of dividing by 3? Multiply by 3. X is negative 15. What are you going to do for letter B? Add 36. And I get 57 is equal to negative 3x. Is 57 divisible by 3? Looks like I need to teach you something. Is the number 145 divisible by 3? What's 1 plus 4 plus 5? 10. Is 10 divisible by 3? So 145 is not either. What's 1 plus 4 plus 7? Is 12 divisible by 3? So 147 is divisible by 3 as well. So as you look at this number right here, it works for the number 3. Is 57, if you add the 5 and the 7, you get 12. Is that divisible by 3? So 57 is as well. So negative 19 is equal to x. Letter C. Subtract that 15. Negative 5/3 x equals, what's negative 45 minus 15? Negative 60. Now I have to get rid of the negative 5/3. How do I get rid of negative 5/3? Multiply by. Good. So I'm going to multiply by negative 3/5. To get rid of a fraction, multiply by the reciprocal. If it was negative, you still multiply by a negative, because a negative times a negative is a positive. Negative 60 times negative 3 is 180. Divided by 5 is 36. What I would like you to do over the course of the next 2-3 minutes, try these 3 on your own. And just a hint, you need to distribute the 4 through. Go ahead and see what you can do. Check with partners, and we'll pick up in just a second. Try them. We have 4x minus 32 is equal to 28. A lot of you added 32 to get 4x is equal to 60. And divide by 4 to get 15. Agreed? Can I show you a different way of doing it? Instead of distributing the 4, you can divide the 4 off. X minus 8 is equal to 7. Add the 8, x is 15. What? they don't want to confuse you, but I will say that for letter B, you could distribute or you can divide something off. Before you divide something off, it might be best to subtract that 6. So 3 times x minus 1 is equal to 12. Now I can divide both sides by? Divide the 3 off. X minus 1 is 4. X is 5. If you don't subtract the 4 over first, I would understand. Please don't do the 4 times the 2 right away, but suppose you did divide everything through by 2. You can do that. But 4 divided by 2 is 2, and then the 2 divided by 2 is 1. So then you just have x plus 10. You don't have to divide the x and the 10, just the multiplier in front. So, you get x plus 12 is equal to 12. You should get x is equal to 0. Anybody get 0 and you're like, uh-oh, I bet I did something wrong because 0 is not a good answer. Colby believes in himself, good. But if you don't, you take that 0 and plug it in. 0 plus 10 is 10, times 2 is 20, plus 4 is 24. Okay. You're getting close to being ready to work through your assignment. We're going to skip letter D. I'm not going to multiply through by anything for letter E. I'm going to try to work this through. What's the problem here? What makes this one challenging? -1, exactly. So you have 4 minus x. We have to distribute that negative sign through. You can pretend like there's a -1 in front, and then it's a -9 is equal to 15. Combine like terms. -x minus 5 is 15. And -x is equal to 20. X is -20. So again, the big mistake is people forget to distribute the negative. Letter F, people might want to do 8 minus 2 first. Can I do that? Why can't I do that? You have to distribute what? 2 or -2? Distribute the -2 through. 8 minus 2x. -2 times 5 is -10 equals -16. I combine like terms. Looks like 8 and -10 gives me -2. Add the 2 to both sides. -14. Divide by -2. X is 7. Good work. Just about. We'll try just a couple of these. What's different about letter A? It's got x's on both sides. Move the x's over to one side. 48 is equal to 4x. Divide by 4. 12 is x. Try letter C on your own. Try letter C on your own. Did you get -1? Okay, one more to try, then I'll give you a sign. Try F. Multi-step equation should have 4x minus 28 plus 2x minus 10 is equal to 3x minus 1. I distributed the 4 and the 2. Are we all okay there? Combine like terms. 4x and 2x make 6x. -28, -10 make -38. equals 3x minus 1. Gather your x's by subtracting 3x. 3x minus 38 is equal to negative 1. Now you're back to a basic two-step equation. Add the 38. 3x is 37. Divide by 3x is 37 thirds. We're going to pause there. Do not give up. When we encounter fractions, we deal with them. It's a very basic way to deal with fractions. We can simply multiply through to get rid of the fractions. For example, suppose Mr. Gantz weighs 180 pounds. Put me on this side, and then 180 pounds on that side of the scale, we balance, right? Well, if you put 5 of me on one side, then what would you have to do to the other side? Put 5 of the 180 pounds, right? So you can multiply both sides of the equation by the same number without changing the solution. So we just have to identify what's the common denominator among 9, 2, and 3. 18. So I'm going to multiply through by 18. We'll do 3 examples together so you can see it. If I multiply through by 18, here's how I do it. 18 divided by 9 is, times 4 is 8. So this becomes 8x. 18 divided by 2 times 3, this becomes 27. 18 divided by 3 times 2, 12x. 18 times 2, 36. Does that equation look easier to solve than the original? And that's what we do. We make it easy. Subtract the 12x. Negative 4x plus 27 is equal to negative 36. Yep. Subtract the 27. Negative 4x is equal to negative 63. Divide by negative 4. X is 63 over 4. Look at example B. What are the two things we're dividing by? 3 and what is the least common multiple or common denominator for 3 and 6? So we're just going to multiply through by 6. You don't have to multiply the x plus 2. You can just focus on the 2/3. 6 divided by 3 is 2. Times 2 is, so I get 4 times the quantity x plus 2. Now we'll do the next one. 6 divided by 6 is, times 5 is. Now I'm trying to save time here, so let's not, can everybody agree you can solve that the rest of the way? So let's just leave it, not worry about trying to solve it the rest of the way. Look at example E, and again, we'll just try to get it to a point you can solve it. What is the least common multiple, or in other words, the common denominator that you would generate? Got 5, 3, 2, and 10. 30. What's 30 divided by 5? Times 4, 24x. Minus 30 divided by 3. Times 1. 30 times 2x. 60x. 30 divided by 10 times 1 is 3x. And 30 divided by 2 times 3. And now it's an equation that you can solve and not worry about any fractions. Correct? You like that? So you have one problem at the end of your worksheet that Campbell just did and he's going to check out where you multiply through by a number in order to get rid of the fractions. That concludes our lesson for the day. I'm going to hand back your tests.